So what's wrong with you? 5 words that would go on to define an incredible experience. I knew going in that there was going to be more to Firewatch than met the eye, but I couldn't have imagined what the next 3 hours would do to me. The story is short, but devastatingly powerful, as we'll follow Henry in his journey to run away from the woman he loves to spare himself the pain of watching her forget him. Alzheimer's has a deep personal connection for me and will likely hit me a little harder than the average gamer, as being forgotten by a loved one is something I don't think you can understand until you've gone through it, and I hope you never do. We start our story through text as Henry will meet Julia, the woman who will become the love of his life. The story is told between moments of gameplay as Henry loads up his backpack, hops into his truck, and starts walking the trail to the Firewatch station. We'll learn about their life together, the good and the bad, the fights and the fun, and what would eventually become their downfall. After a series of episodes, Henry will take Julia to the doctors where she is diagnosed with early onset dementia at the young age of 41. We learn about how the next months would go, feeling all too familiar to me as sometimes Julia would be the woman Henry fell in love with, and some days she would be a stranger. No amount of love or determination can make this any easier. He tries his best to care for her, but Henry will falter, making mistakes that will force Julia's parents to take her back to their home in Australia, where he promises to visit. He intends to, but intentions and actions aren't really the same thing, no matter how much we wish they were. With the summer coming up, he sees an ad in the paper for a job, and takes it, which is where we are now, in the middle of a forest in Wyoming, heading to Two Forks Watchtower. Inside the tower, Henry will meet his only companion out here, a voice on the radio named Delilah, who will kick off our journey, asking that pivotal question.
So, what's wrong with you?
Excuse me?
People take this job to get away from something. So, what's wrong?
Henry will spend the rest of the summer in the forest talking to Delilah and walking the land. Now, I could tell you about the rest of the journey to be had here. The mysteries we get wrapped up in, tracking down drunk teenagers, trying to keep the forest from catching fire, and discovering something much more sinister. But I think all those things are better left to be experienced by you. Firewatch is in that list of games that is so much better experienced than heard about. There's things I simply can't convey in writing. The way it feels to slowly learn the forest, navigating with a map and compass at first while slowly learning to get around without them, becoming more at home in this strange place minute by minute. But then there's also the way that this radio and the voice within it will be something you come to depend on. There's this beautiful, vibrant world out there for you to explore, and as wonderful as that is, it does get lonely. It wasn't long before I was dying for the next radio message, wanting to know more about Henry and Delilah and Julia, wondering where we would go from here. The pair have a chemistry that's undeniable, both having a wonderful sense of humor that is simultaneously just the same and miles apart. Henry is broken at the start in trying to figure out where he fits in the world, but there's still that loving, funny guy that Julia fell in love with inside of him. Delilah is also broken, but it hasn't slowed her down, being bombastic with an infectious joy radiating off of her. The game is incredible at putting you in stress-inducing and chaotic moments where I become frantic not knowing what was about to happen. It shows the flaws in Henry where he can become quick to anger if you allow him to be, firing back when insulted and ready for a fight when provoked. In many ways, the story is ridiculous with things happening that don't make any sense, but that's kind of the point, as Henry being here doesn't make any sense either, but they build in such a perfect way that you get lost in it, becoming emotional rather than rational. In the same way that the game understands the need for suspense, conflict, and drama, it also understands the need for a calm, quiet, and serene moment. Whether it's enjoying a sandwich with the sunset, taking a stroll through the forest to pick up your supplies, or watching the first fire of the season burn away, even giving it a name. And all of these moments will be accompanied by a score so perfect that you're likely never to forget it. Hell, you've been listening to it the whole time. By the time you lift off in the helicopter on day 79, you will have been through a crucible that will have either reminded Henry of what he had been missing out on, or convinced him it was time to move on. Much like our own futures, we don't know what lies in Henry's. We can only hope that at the end of this, he will use his experience in the forest to put his life back together. It's been said that not all those who wander are lost, but Firewatch goes to show that those who are lost should wander. Much like the game, I wanted to keep this short, hopefully encouraging you to give the game a try yourself, especially if you can get it during a Steam sale like I did. I left out the vast majority of the true story in Firewatch here because it deserves to be seen firsthand, and I hope you do so. Don't have much to say other than thank you for all the support in the Mass Effect 3 video. The game is a deeply personal one to me, and I appreciate having a community that allows me to express my passions. I wasn't planning on doing a video this week, but was so moved by Firewatch that I felt the need to speak on it, even in this brief manner. I'm actually considering uploading my full playthrough since it was only 3 hours in an unlisted video I can link down in the description. If you guys want to see that, if you can't play the game for whatever reason, you just want to watch me play it, I will consider doing that. Just leave a comment down below if that's something that interests you. You know what's next. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is right around the corner. For now, though, this is Purple signing off. Have a wonderful night, and always remember to smile. Thanks, guys.
I'm headed off to Ocean, where the birds and the bees won't know me. Man and war won't exist no more, and there ain't no gals to keep no score. I'm taking off for the woods, to a place where there